The arena fell silent as the circle of Vakari warriors tightened around the human girl. Mira Soren stood motionless in the crimson sand, her small frame dwarfed by the towering predators that surrounded her. Their scales gleamed like polished obsidian under the twin suns, each warrior standing over 8 feet tall with razor-sharp claws that could disembowel a grazer in seconds. She had come to Vakar Prime as a diplomatic envoy, a gesture of peace from the Terran coalition. The Vakari had laughed at the notion, sending a single unarmed female to negotiate with apex predators who had conquered 17 star systems through pure martial prowess. It was an insult wrapped in naivety. Commander Thrace, the most decorated warrior in the Vakari fleet, circled her slowly. His yellow eyes narrowed with predatory focus. "Your kind are weak," he hissed, his voice carrying across the arena where hundreds of Vakari had gathered to witness this spectacle. "You have no claws, no fangs, no armor. You are prey pretending to be predator." Mira said nothing. Her hands hung loosely at her sides, her breathing calm and measured. She had been warned this might happen, that the Vakari respected only strength, only the willingness to bare one's teeth when challenged. "We will demonstrate why humans have no place among the warrior races," Thrace continued, raising his clawed hand. At his signal, a gate opened on the far side of the arena. The crowd roared with anticipation. What emerged made Mira's blood run cold, but not with fear, with fury. 6 Vakari cubs stumbled into the arena, their scales still soft and dull, their eyes wide with terror. They couldn't have been more than 3 cycles old, barely past their hatching. They huddled together, confused and frightened by the roaring crowd and the strange sense of the arena. "These cubs are failures," Thrace announced, his voice booming. "Born with weak constitutions, unable to hunt, unable to fight. They drain resources from the strong. Today, they serve their final purpose, to demonstrate the fate that awaits all weakness." He drew his ceremonial blade, a wickedly curved weapon that had tasted the blood of countless enemies. The other warriors followed suit, their blades singing as they left their sheaths. "And you, human, will watch and learn what strength truly means." Mira's jaw tightened. Her hands, which had been loose at her sides, slowly curled into fists. The cubs, sensing danger, began to whimper and press closer together. Then something happened that no Vakari expected. Mira moved. She didn't run away from the cubs, she ran toward them. Before Thrace could react, she had positioned herself between the warriors and the terrified younglings. The cubs, operating on pure instinct, scrambled behind her, using her body as a shield. "Stand aside, human," Thrace growled. "This is not your concern." "No," Mira said simply. Her voice was quiet, but it carried the weight of absolute conviction. The crowd's roar faded to confused murmurs. No one defied Commander Thrace, certainly no prey species. "You would die for cubs that are not even your species?" Thrace asked, genuine bewilderment crossing his reptilian features. "They are weak. They are a burden. They are children," Mira interrupted, her voice suddenly sharp as broken glass. "They're children." She reached behind her back and drew 2 combat knives from sheaths hidden beneath her diplomatic robes. The blades were human-made, forged from carbon titanium alloy, each one etched with the names of soldiers who had died protecting others. The Vakari warriors tensed. They had been told humans were unarmed. "You want to kill cubs because they're weak?" Mira's voice rose, carrying across the silent arena. "Then you'll have to go through me first." Thrace laughed, a harsh barking sound. "You cannot defeat us all, human. You cannot even defeat me." "I don't need to defeat you all," Mira replied, settling into a combat stance that spoke of years of training. "I just need to make sure that if you want these cubs, you'll have to earn every inch with blood. Your blood." Behind her, Creel, the smallest of the cubs with scales the color of storm clouds, pressed against her leg. He was shaking, but he didn't run. None of them did. Thrace raised his blade. 3 warriors moved to flank Mira, their claws extended. The crowd held its breath. Then Creel did something that changed everything. The young cub stepped out from behind Mira, placing his small body beside hers. He bared his tiny, still forming fangs, a pathetic display by Vakari standards, but an unmistakable gesture of defiance. One by one, the other 5 cubs joined him, forming a line beside the human girl. The warriors froze. In Vakari culture, cubs never fought. They ran, they hid, they survived, but they never stood their ground. It was contrary to every instinct bred into them over millions of years of evolution. Yet here they stood, 6 weak cubs, facing down the most elite warriors of their race, because a human had shown them something their own kind never had, that protecting the vulnerable was not weakness, but the highest form of strength. An elderly Vakari in ceremonial robes stood from the Gwenjongsi stands. High Matriarch Vazra, the oldest living Vakari, her scales faded to silver with age. Her voice cracked across the arena like thunder. "Stop." Every warrior immediately lowered their weapons and dropped to one knee. Mira remained standing, knives ready, cubs at her side. The matriarch descended into the arena, each step deliberate. She approached Mira slowly, her ancient eyes taking in the scene, the defiant human, the protective stance. The cubs who had found courage in her shadow. "In 3,000 cycles," Vazra said softly, "I have never seen cubs stand with a warrior. We bred out compassion, thinking it weakness. We culled the vulnerable, calling it strength." She turned to address the crowd. "This human has shown us what we forgot, that true strength is not the absence of weakness, but the courage to protect it." She looked at Thrace, her gaze withering. "These cubs are no longer failures. They are warriors. And this human," she gestured to Mira, "has earned more honor in this moment than you have in your entire career." Mira slowly lowered her blades but didn't sheath them. Creel pressed closer, his small, clawed hand touching her leg in what might have been gratitude or comfort. "The Terran Coalition sent you as a test," Vazra continued, "to see if we were worthy of alliance. I believe, human Mira Soren, that the question is reversed. The true question is whether we are worthy of allying with your kind." In the silence that followed, 6 cubs and 1 human girl stood together in the crimson sand, having changed the course of 2 civilizations without firing a single shot. Sometimes, the greatest weapon is not the blade you draw, but the line you refuse to cross.